You are listening to Drop Tent Media Network.
We're good? All right. Am I in the shot? I don't know.
Camera's up there.
Jesus
Camera's
Christ,
up there.
dude. Look at this fuck. This is
I thought you were pointing at the mirror.
Big time.
You're like,
Big
I'm going to
time.
rig it off the mirror. Nothing but Rinaldi.
It's very,
You're going to be backwards.
very theatrical.
It's pretty. This is good feeling
is
right
good,
now.
nice setup.
That Helium's letting us do a podcast. I'm approaching my 10th year of stand up. 6. I think you started a year before me.
Yeah, I'm coming up on 11, I think.
Mike, now none of the comics know each other. That's what I do now with podcasts.
Oh, hey, Brian.
I get everybody together that don't know each other, and then I end up being the one that's getting fucked with the whole podcast.
I mean,
that's what happened when we
tell
had
the truth, though, we do know everybody. That was unrageous.
Right.
I mean, no.
You didn't have to lie.
I mean,
Brian.
you don't know each other.
I like how you're just
like,
you're blueprinting how it doesn't work out for you.
Well,
You're like, it sucks for me because these idiots don't know each other.
well, we had John Ducalo and David James come to the studio and do one.
Yeah.
And Mike didn't know them in the beginning, and by the end of the hour, everybody's just
You hated them both.
No.
No. We all jumped on Steve together.
Yeah,
That's how
I
we got. That's
I
how
got
we made
trampled.
friends.
David's ruthless, dude.
Yeah,
People sleep
yeah.
on David James. He's fucking awful.
Oh, he's on the show tonight. John's
Yeah,
on the
I
show, and in the middle of the podcast, I made the mistake of talking about how serious I am about being a practicing Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
They ripped me for like.
Lights out, dude.
And John was raised Irish Italian Catholic, so
Roman
he's
Catholic?
familiar how
Yeah.
I was brought up.
Sure.
And he said, "You're really going to raise your daughter that way? You're like,
What other
as
way
I was
is there?
saying, I'm going to baptize her." He thought it was like insane. He feels like it's like cultish.
Doug thinks it's weird that you're
Gonna-
raising your kid.
Kristen, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
Chris,
Kristen.
thank you very much.
Yes,
Yes,
doing big
thank
things.
Shout out to Helium Comedy Club letting us do this right now.
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, he thought it was insane. And
Can
I
I
said,
grab-
John,
can I grab
even
one
if
for
I wasn't a practicing Catholic, you have to raise your children with values.
Yeah, you got to force them to go through the same shit that you had to go through.
But his argument was
He's like, nah, you don't have to do that.
the amount of lies that he was told from being raised
Did he
Catholic.
go to Catholic school?
Yeah, I went to
No,
St.
him, John. I'm pretty sure John
I
went to
don't
Catholic
remember.
school.
I don't
remember what he
think
said?
I don't think he knows Jesus at all. Is the way the podcast went.
They went in.
I don't think he knew him
Yeah,
at all.
David can't help. He's Southern Baptist.
Well, he says to me, what if I was saying like I'll write a candle for you guys? Remember, Neil? And he was
Yeah,
like,
what?
He was like,
It did sound a little gay.
he said, well, what if you go to light the candle and you get raped?
Wow. Whoa.
Now, didn't he say something like that?
Play the tape back, please.
I don't remember that
can't
either.
do
I
it.
remember
Only
the
in the
raping
studio
going
you can
on
do that.
with the candlelight.
No, he just said, oh, hey, what if you're a kid that grew up in the church and you get raped, and then you're like, you probably go to church, like after.
Yeah, you're a good Catholic.
And then John said that's where it happens. Yeah, it got really weird.
Is that what y'all go through? Because I'm Baptist too. We don't get raped. You get? Did it happen?
Well, people blame the Catholic Church was only like the most exposed, but it's every religion. All
Yeah.
creepy ass dudes are in religion, dude.
Well, it's not just religion.
It's not like the
People
Protestants
everywhere.
are sitting over there like, "Yo, Catholics got to chill out." They're fucking dicking down boys too.
Well,
guys-
they were like, you guys got to stop getting caught. Like, Jesus Christ, you're getting caught every
Dicking-
time. At least hide.
Dicking down boys.
Yeah, dude.
See, now I got to cut that out.
That's actually the name of a parish.
You do know the only people that support
It's in
this
Downey.
podcast right now is my aunts, my uncles, and you can't talk
They're-
about that.
They're
They're
not
def-
virgins, Steve. They know what that
But they're
means,
definitely going
and
to go
they've
light a
been there.
candle on Sunday.
But you can't, like, to certain people, you can't bring that up.
No.
That priest raped kids. Even though it's a fact.
I mean, the priest
It's
shouldn't
like-
bring it
it's-
up either with the kids. But look, that's life. You can't not say it. People said it. That's why it's out there.
It was big for a while. It's not I don't think it's as huge as it is right now.
Yeah, because people aren't going.
No,
anymore.
not like it was the thing to do. No, it was in the news. It was in the news. That's what I meant.
I know what you
All right,
meant.
I
Just
just
used to be way
I just
cool.
had a
Pretty
baby. Mike Perkins brought me a gift. Let's change the subject. Oh, I'm up
I
here.
like how you try to change the subject. You're like, I had a kid. I'm like,
Yeah.
easy. Dude, you're not changing the
Not at
subject
church,
at all.
did you?
I had to save myself. No, you
He had
guys,
a girl, so she's safe. By the way,
you
That's
guys
what
are
this was
both
going.
Catholic, right?
Yeah.
I'm Catholic, yeah.
Catholic, okay.
Italian
All right, so
Catholic.
you get it. Like you're
Yeah.
a parent.
We either go through the same shit my dad did and my mom did. It's they make CCD, all the bullshit.
Yeah, CCD, yeah.
So
See, I
you're
went-
18.
What's CCD?
That's the fucking
CCD.
boring ass class. I got kicked out of CCD once, dude.
Really?
My mom was fucking furious. Yeah, I was just being an asshole. And I got kicked out and I had to wait outside of whatever school we were doing it at. You know, you did it at like a random school. And fucking my dad picked me up. He's like, you might want to walk. I was like, why? I was like, you're not mad? He's like, I don't give a shit what you do. He's like, dude, I did my 18 years, dude. That's all the church is getting out of me, dude. That's what he always said. He's like, I still got fucking marks on the back where the nuns were smacking me. He got a yardstick broken over his neck and his back a few times.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
we didn't have
could hit
Baptists. Don't
kids.
have the nuns. Our moms do that to us.
Yeah.
Well, it was worse. It was worse. If you came home and
Still
got
do,
hit,
still do.
if you got hit by the nuns and came home, you'd get it worse from your parents. My dad, I remember my dad was like, I learned that real quick because the one nun smacked me up. I came home, complained, and then your grandfather beat the shit out of me. I said, why the fuck did he beat you? He's like, because you were doing something wrong. If the nuns hit you, you were doing something wrong, and that makes you an asshole.
first asshole
Ain't that
didn't learn.
crazy
It was
that
double up on it.
every generation it winded down a little bit more, like with hitting kids?
My dad, yeah.
It went from you want people to hit your kids to discipline them. Then it went, no, you don't hit my kid. I hit my kid.
Yeah.
Then it became, we don't hit our kids at all.
Yeah.
Now you're not allowed to say if you want to discipline your kid that
Yeah.
way.
Well,
you're
'cause
like
all
you're
the-
like blackballed.
All the creepy people, you know, they weren't hitting kids.
You hit your
They were
kids?
fucking the kids. Yeah, I hit my kids. I don't care if anyone else hits them either.
But
I never got hit. I got smacked. I'd get smacked in the back of the head. I got a wiffle ball bat to the back of the legs. That sucked.
I
But
get it, yeah.
nothing. I never got like
wiffle ball?
wiffle ball bat. My dad whacked me.
You got off a
That's
lot
not bad.
easier
A
than
lot
me.
easier.
I never got
That's
put it like this. I mean, I got a few. The smacks in the back of the head, dude. My dad would bring them fucking things from like Louisiana, dude. Poof! I'm like,
He would do the Will Smith posture.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I was. I
Papa Tyler when he got done.
yeah, his wife's name in my mouth, dude.
Take the Lord's name.
I was talking about my mom. No, but I never got like punched in the face. People were like just like jump it. I'm like, dude, they didn't like they didn't jump me. You know what I mean? It's like I got hit because I was a
Jump
fucking
you.
idiot.
You come out of the living room,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
where's
Like, I
everybody at? Hit from behind.
It's insane. And my dad always jokes about if they had rules like they do today. He's like me and all my friends would be orphans. That's nothing. Like the shit that people report to like parental services or whatever the fuck.
That's
Yeah.
nothing.
He's like, that's
we didn't have
nothing.
nobody to
Well,
tell to.
they tell children.
No one saved us.
Yeah, my dad told me to run away when I was
way
like
you
8.
said
I was like,
that-
I'll run away. He's like,
If
Dad.
Neil could have put like
I
a
was like-
light down on you, so it was like your monologue, it's like, nobody was there to save us. They never were.
But
Like a little commercial.
Still
flies
happens.
around my face.
They tell the children at school. Someone just told me this. They ask them if your parents hit you, and if they find out you do, it turns into this big thing now.
That's insane.
That's
I-
crazy.
Ass.
That's crazy to me.
I missed out on that. When I was like
Wow.
12 or 13, when I first started skateboarding, I was trying some dumb shit, and I just got into skating, and I broke my arm in 2 places, and I didn't say anything for like 2 weeks. I have a real high tolerance for pain, which is a bad thing. It's not good. So my mom was like watching me put on my jacket one morning, and I couldn't lift my arm. She's like, "The fuck's wrong with your arm?" I was like, "I don't know. It still hurts from the other week." Take me to the doctor. Doctor's like, your arm's broken in 2 places. And then he took my mom outside, and they looked at it like, what really happened? So they called my dad from work because he had to sit down with one of the social people there. If I knew back then, I'm like, my dad beats the shit out of me. I mean, it would
You
be
bring a
worth the
bloody
beating.
wiffle ball bat, you're like,
Yeah.
this was it.
I was like, it's my fault, dinner wasn't ready.
Oh, you just didn't tell her because you had high tolerance for pain. That I didn't tell her. 'cause
No,
was
I
gonna
just
get-
did. Yeah, I just didn't
I was
say
gonna get
anything.
hurt more. She was gonna take the other one out with your dumb ass. Like that's
Yeah.
how we got this.
Yeah.
No, we wasn't.
I feel like you never got hit by your parents.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to Ball Break.
No, I could
We're,
just.
we're
dude,
talking
you-
we're talking
you ju-
about rape at the top and then beating kids.
Mike, you
Very
just,
Philly.
No,
man.
I did. No, I do remember getting hit, and my grandmom had like that cat of nine tails leather strap.
Whoa, isn't
And,
that more like kinky?
It was, yeah, it was. super sexy back in the late
She's like,
90s.
like, if my
Yeah,
grandfather broke out the dildo, I
It was like
fucked.
Y2K. I was ready for it. You know what I mean? 'Cause of
Yeah.
that.
Literally. You fucked my ass. It's not good.
You didn't get hit with dildos? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, you didn't.
But you get strap-on sex.
No,
is it?
I did get hit. I remember getting like slapped around and stuff and kind of beat. But like then my brother, because my brother, he's 3 years younger than me, and he had asthma real bad, so he was like always in and out of the doctor's office and hospital and stuff. So then like my parents kind of died down because they were always taking care of him. So
I remember my sister
Yeah.
tried that. My parents just bought the nebulizer.
she tried it.
Whooped
That's what he
her ass
had.
and
Yeah.
then hooked her up. Yeah, just hooked her up.
But no, I never got beat and stuff. You know, so it was I don't remember it being that bad. I remember my grandma having that kinky leather strap. And then
That's a whole different story. I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
it's
know.
about beating
That's
you.
not.
no, it was like
another
it was passed
subject.
down from her mom and shit, and like used to be like they.
But that was
beat
the
their
purpose
kids.
of it.
I don't know. I think it was just for protection, like to have it. You know what I mean? But then I
think your
remember my
grandma's got
little
some-
brother, because we got in trouble the one time. My little brother threw it out in the trash.
Uh-oh.
And she lived in like a building where it's like a community trash thing where you throw it down the chute, and she couldn't get it back, so she was like real pissed off. My brother
Oh, that was like a family heirloom that
yeah.
played there.
So
That-
like, but then
I
the
think
beating
you're-
stopped. You know what I mean? So
You might want to ask some questions to your grandmoms and them about why that was passed down to like the parents or something.
Explains a lot, Mike.
yeah. But hey, I'm feeling good, baby. You know, what I mean? I'm feeling good.
No, I as a father to a girl, I think to discipline a girl that way. Like if my
No, absolutely
if
not.
my wife hit my daughter, which
But
she
you-
wouldn't, I would lose my mind. So it's like,
I
Well,
think
but
it's,
she's also Russian. So
I think it's
take
more-
care of yourself first.
well,
I think it's more if you have young boys though. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you're
you
not.
beat the
I mean, your
boys.
dad isn't going to beat your. I mean, maybe. I mean, some families, if they do, fucking call the hotline, betterhelp.com. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, a father isn't going to beat his daughter unless he's like a fucking
Yeah,
raging
that's
alcoholic and
different.
shit. But your son is a different story because your son can take it.
well, you want them to toughen up. You don't want them to
Exactly.
be soft.
Yeah.
But now I feel like being soft in the generation coming up is like the new norm.
Yeah.
Like all my friends with kids right now, they're moving out of the city because of how bad Philly is.
It's not great.
I know it's not, but what I'm trying to say is like, don't you you grew up in Delco? I grew up in.
Well, I
South
lived in
Philly.
South Philly until I was like 9.
Okay.
And then we moved out of Delco because that was the mid-90s. And if they think Philly's bad now, mid-90s. Jesus
Right, it wasn't
Those dudes were getting shot for Jordans. You
It
know?
wasn't documented. I remember three
Yeah.
But Jordans
three
were good back
dudes.
then. You know?
Yeah.
3 dudes with Barbie bikes beat the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
I tell that story to people. They're like, the Barbie, like if they're not from Philly, you know what type
Yeah.
of people they
Yeah.
are if they're fucking rolling up the street.
But it's going to come back around. You're making these soft kids. Things going to get hard again. And then now what are they going to do? Like, you know what I mean? It's going to get hard again.
It'll be a big thing again.
Yeah, you know, you shouldn't, because your kids have to know, when they grow up, they have to know what to do in these situations. You know, these kids are soft. You don't put them around any danger. They don't know when danger's coming. And something's going to happen. You
Yeah,
can't
as
run
much
away.
as the city evolves, there's
from
still going to be those
problems.
old problems that are always going to be there. Like
shit
fucking
happens in the
people
country,
drunk
too.
starting
Like,
fights
I
on the street
understand.
while you're walking by yourself. You want your kid to be safe and be like, yo, this can happen. Don't think because it's 2022 that you can't get your ass whooped walking down the street. I mean, dudes are
Yeah.
getting stabbed in Rittenhouse. You know what I mean?
Anywhere.
You learn to
Anywhere.
watch your
though.
mouth.
It's not
Philly's,
people,
it's
too.
not just north and west. You know, like north, southwest, west. It was like, dude, yeah. Like growing up, my dad was like, "It's called the Badlands. Don't go." I'm like, "All right." Like,
I never got that mindset of being like Philly's always been like, it's always been like, oh, you can hang out in that part, but go 3 blocks down and you're fucked.
oh yeah.
And it's
bunch
like,
of
well,
shit.
what happens within that 3 blocks? Like, no one's gonna like, we don't want to walk that far. And we got these Barbie bikes. We don't want to drive. too
I
quick.
hate when people
You know what I
say
mean?
that.
I don't want to ride up too much because
Nice.
you know,
The callback.
they got
Nice.
fucking, they got training wheels on them, but I got to go rob that little kid dressed up as Stone Cold. You know what I mean? So. I don't know. I think it's
I think it builds character. It teaches you how to talk to other people,
I think
too.
as long as
People that
I feel
didn't go
like-
through things,
but like-
mouth run too much.
It's weird. Like my parents made some terrible decisions
Yeah.
if it comes to like neighborhoods and not putting a kid in the right atmosphere. Like I remember.
No. First of
Wait a
all,
sec. Let me just say one thing. My parents used to
Say
drop
what?
me and all the kids in the neighborhood, like 9 of us, would all pack up into my dad's car, and they would drop us off at the ECW arena.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I used to be
baby.
down
This is
there.
Yeah,
This
baby.
is 1997. I was born in '86. I'm an 11-year-old kid. Let's drop them off and let them watch.
Dude, there were
wrestling.
9 of
Yeah.
you. The neighborhood should have been worried about you.
Who
These
didn't go to the
9 South Philly
ECW
kids.
arena
You
when
guys
you were
were
9 years old?
ECW.
Y'all were the
No,
problem, not the
I'm
neighborhood.
an 11-year-old kid,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're leaving me there for the night.
It's not like Paul Heyman was fucking checking IDs at the door.
Yeah.
There were 9 of you, Steve. That's cool.
He's like, you're 11,
That
get in
was
the
all right.
ring. You know?
Yeah,
No,
there
it's
were
like
9 of
it's
you.
like that. That's the kind of. I think that now parents are more exposed to where their kids are going.
Sure.
Because my mom and dad, they're probably thinking, "Oh, he loves professional wrestling. It's right around the block."
Yeah, this is professional.
Dude, okay,
Yeah.
if you were walking down the street and
My
you
brother
saw,
got in trouble because he took cookie pans from my mom. Because remember, you could bring them to the crowd, and then the wrestlers, like Sandman, would
They
just
would
show
grab
up
it
in the
and-
mezzanine.
yeah.
What the fuck's he doing up here? And they grab it and use it. My mom was like, "Where the fuck are all my cookie pans?" and I remember accidentally ratting my brother out and being like, "Oh, dude, mom, you missed it. Sandman used one." And smack Sabu. She's like, "I don't know what you just said."
You're watching TV, your mom comes in, she's like, that's my Betty Crocker.
Yeah,
what
dude.
the fuck?
Yeah. I was
kidding
like,
me?
"Yeah, you made it."
Yeah.
I think the catch-22 is like after 4 months of going to these shows at the ECW arena in a bingo hall. I remember one night I came home with a broken piece of a wooden table that was real sharp, and it was signed by like New Jack.
New Jack just went through
New
it.
Jack and Balls Mahoney.
Hell
My
yeah.
dad was like, "What the fuck is this thing on the floor? Someone's gonna get cut." I'm like, "Don't touch that. It's worth money." Like I'm this 11-year-old kid. That's memorabilia.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You know what, though? I mean, back then, though, the internet, I guess, kind of ruined everything for everybody. Because, like, parents were just like, yeah, you can go there. But then once, like,
They
there's
see
a
it.
bunch of news articles coming up on your, your homepage being like, 5 young boys were killed at the ECW arena. You
I
know?
don't think.
Or they just turned on
Like,
channel
there was-
56 at like 10 p.m. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought you guys were playing bingo.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was Spike Dudley getting tossed off the second mezzanine, dude.
It is a bingo hall. They do bingo on Tuesdays, but Wednesday it's ECW.
Spike Dudley has a normal job now.
Yeah, he's like an investment guy up there.
No way.
I swear to God.
Really?
He lives up in like Maine.
Normal dude.
Yeah, he's
Normal
no.
dude.
What's crazy is I brought this up before, not to go too much into it, but it's Spike Dudley has taken more licks than probably in that prime time ECW when it was Van Dam and Sabu and all them. That dude got tossed. His wife was in it. There's a clip.
yeah.
Look it up. When Mike Awesome, who died, killed himself because he was a fucking nut
I
job,
thought it was
and he was
just
on.
a OD.
Well, it was probably OD, but it was probably from him. He was taking steroids like fucking M&Ms. So he was massive. If you look at the clip of when Mike Awesome hits Spike Dudley's wife, because they were like running a
Real
tag team.
life.
Yeah, well, it became his real life girlfriend at the time. They were doing
so
like
she got hit,
tag
he's
team.
like,
you know,
"She's
they had the
mine."
overalls with the tie down, the
Yeah,
Dudley
yeah,
boys
yeah.
thing. This is like right after Big Dick left. Big Dick Dudley.
Big dick.
Remember him?
Dick Dudley. Yeah, I
But
remember that
fucking
name.
dude, look up the clip of Mike Awesome hitting Spike Dudley's wife. He fucking hits her hard. Like Tyson would be like, Jesus Christ, dude. And I remember my mom seeing that clip, or one of my aunts was like, you know what, they're watching down there. And that was the clip.
Dude,
And my brother was like, go fuck yourself.
do
I'm
you
going.
remember the
I wasn't
pro-
allowed
Do
to
you
go.
remember the promos with Louis Spicoli,
Fucking
Dreamer,
right.
and Beulah?
Dreamer's the
Do you
man,
remember? Do
dude.
you ever
Dreamer is
watch
the
them?
fucking man.
How
Yeah.
was that allowed?
Oh, dude.
How did my mom and dad not hear that? He used to bend her over the rope
Oh, yeah.
and go, "Dreamer, I'm fucking your girl." Like,
I like how
like-
he whispers it.
no,
He gets down to the point.
that's the guinea in me. No, I'm just saying, like, you can never cross those limits. Now, I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
I know, you
Is there
can't
any
do it. And that's-
independent wrestling organization that
There
allows
actually
that?
is. Like, they kind of, there's a AEW. and-
AEW was small for a while now.
Yeah,
it's big
there's a
again.
lot of those. Like the thing that Shayna does, Awful Wrestling. Like it's more of a comedic thing, but they just got licensed. They do really well. And Shayna's like, you know,
I seen pictures of
he
it.
does like no joke wrestling. Like obviously it's for show and it's a gimmicky thing, but dude packs it out because it's not that fucking corporate McMahon thing. It's like, you know what I mean? Like
Are
people
they-
want
is,
that.
Is Shayner like trained?
I mean, he watched ECW growing up. He's about as trained as you and me.
Got a bunch of years logged
But he
in.
looks good doing it.
Oh my god,
He
yo,
looks
that's
good doing
hysterical.
it. He's good.
I'm not surprised
Yeah,
that
exactly.
he's doing that. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah. There it is. Dude, watch this hit. Watch Mike Awesome
Holy
hit this
shit.
girl.
Oh my god! What?
Yeah,
But it was
dude.
the 90s. That was
Dude,
S&M back then. That was-
he knocked out like 5 of her teeth. on that
Jesus!
hit.
And
I mean,
Spike
dude,
was like,
And
"I
then the
can
guy
take you."
married her after that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's. I can take you to the dentist.
Dude, if
What are you doing after? We can get
You
some
could just look
Jello.
up Spike Dudley getting tossed into the crowd compilation. I'm pretty sure Rhino, or it might have been Mike Allsop too, threw him so far. I mean, he was like 120 pounds. He would get tossed. Still one of the best finishing moves on ECW. The acid drop. That's a sick move. That's when you headlock, you run up the turnbuckles and jump off. Dude, Dudley Boy's ruled. Dudley Boy's fucking ruled.
I don't know.
I can't believe he's doing investments now.
Who do you feel more bad for? A failed wrestler or a failed stand-up?
Wrestler.
We're gonna go around the panel.
Wrestler.
Right now. Why?
Start with me, wrestler.
Why? Give
Because if you're a failed
give
wrestler,
your justification.
because
a failed wrestler. Now, let me just interrupt you real quick. It arguably could be a guy like Spike, the franchise,
Sure.
the ones that never made six figures.
Yeah.
But they have recognition amongst.
during
their
the time
peers.
was like, whoa.
People like us know them.
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
I would
why.
say it's. I feel way worse for failed wrestlers because a failed comedian only has to leave with the mental licks, and he can still go get a job and be normal. A failed wrestler, most of them, especially guys from that ECW period, they're all roided up. They're all pill problems, among other drug problems. They're fucked in the head. What are they gonna do? Start fucking bang? Like Spike Dudley must have just slipped past that fucking brain trauma. I don't know how the fuck he's investing. I mean, he's probably like put all your money in Skittles. It's like, dude, he's got to be a horrible investment.
That is such a disgrace. That is such a disgrace, but so real.
But no, it's like you look at the fucking beatings and like the regulations of wrestling in ECW, which there was none. I mean, Christ, Sabu broke his neck 3 different times. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, he's good. You know what I mean? And now look at him. He looks like a piece of meat in a It's horrible.
It's sick.
Because these guys give everything to it, and he can't just roll out and be like, all right, I'm going to go get my Series 7 and become a broker. You know what I mean? They're fucked. Comics, they're just like, I sucked.
I don't know.
You can disappear and get into something normal, I think, easier as a failed comedian or failed actor as opposed to a failed wrestler.
I think
Also, a lot of those guys don't want to give up their look, dude. They go with the hair and the fucking
Yeah.
they
spray
don't get
tans.
rid of it.
Nah, they love
It's just
it.
them.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels still wears shorts up to his ass.
Yeah.
he did cut his hair though, which was upsetting.
yeah.
Failed wrestler,
I was like,
failed
what?
comic.
I think I'm going off of like kind of like body image because a failed wrestler, you only have like a good 15 years in you.
Shelf life.
You know what I mean? Like you can't like, okay, I could fail at comedy. Like maybe tonight, who knows? Live from Helium, baby.
You're already failed.
But like, but you could fail at comedy, and then I can come back in 15 years. But as a wrestler, like you train so hard to get to that point, and like you said, like Sabu breaks his fucking his neck and shit. Like your body takes such a toll that you can't come back. Because the best thing you can do is become like a manager or like somebody like in the corner. But then also like
the wrestling industry changed. Now you could start a podcast.
Right, but these guys didn't have anything.
Well, that's true.
When Heyman got in bed with McMahon and sold ECW, like there was a part of ECW, they were fucked.
But there's something about going to like a Comic-Con or something, and then you're like, oh, cool, it's Spike Dudley signing autographs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're like, rather than like, oh, cool, it's Mike Perkins signing autographs in the line of the Comic-Con. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think body-wise and kind of like, it's failed wrestler. Because like you know, but it's kind of the same lifestyle in a way.
Those guys,
It's so
because you're constantly
when
grinding and you're constantly trying to do stuff. Where like you said, mentally they're both the fucking same because you have to keep doing this match or doing this gig or doing this or on the road and taking a toll on your fucking mental. But I think stand up wise, you can do this for fucking 80 years, like fucking George Carlin and stuff, where he's like, you know. How old is he? The last special he did, like 78 or something like that.
Yeah, he was old.
So it was like you can do that. You don't want to see Sabu in the fucking
no one's,
in the ECW arena being like
Sabu. I see 78.
You know,
but
trying to point up.
If he started a podcast, he'd make a living
Well, I mean, Tommy Dreamer
based on those investments.
Dreamer's got a
Not wrestling
podcast
anymore.
on Gas Digital.
Yeah, but Spike
And he does
Spike
well
could
when
also
he does
have.
it. But it's also, I tell Lewis all the time, I'm like, Lewis, please tell me and Shane because he doesn't come in to Gas all the time. Like, he's obviously on the road, he's still wrestling. So sometimes he'll record it on the road and just send it into the producers at Gas and they put it out. But, dude, like, the fucking 1 week, it was him and RVD. And they sat down and did 2 hours of just like, let's cut the shit, talk from the jump. And I was like, Lewis, why would you have not? He was like, I didn't know this and that. And like Shaner's a massive ECW guy, but he's a massive dreamer guy.
RVD's doing stand up now. Do you guys know that?
RVD rules. He was a smart one because he got into weed early. And no.
Which was an investment.
You're being like straight business.
Which was an investment tip from Spike Dudley. He said, get into weed stocks. All right?
He was like, look, your brain's fucked up. But he did because he got into the weed stuff. Like, he was smoking weed. He didn't get into, I mean, I'm sure he was roiding like the other ones, but not as bad, whatever. But, like, dude, no one really can comprehend the mental fucking, look at half the guys that are dead from ECW. You know what I mean? You look at like a Mike Awesome and shit. Those guys were going out for what, $50 a night at the fucking bingo hall, taking beatings. There was an argument the other day about how New Jack is one of the best wrestlers. I go, he fucking sucked. He was a horrible wrestler. He was a showman. Guy's jumping off the second mezzanine with an OJ jersey.
What about the comic that's 20 years in, still doing? No, just still doing $20, $50 spots, dude.
It's like what Mike was saying. It's like, dude, they can do that. If it's something that you're going to do and you're okay with, if you still put it like this, if you can accept the fact that it's like, okay, I don't mind doing these VFWs till I'm 50, 60 years old because I enjoy doing it. It's really not about the money, which, hey, if you're okay with it, more power to you. But the wrestler guys, they always got to look at it like, no, I'm going to get called back up. You know, and they keep going out to these other leagues that are even worse than ECW, that are in like gymnasiums at Catholic schools getting their shit kicked out of them. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, back to the Catholic, too, by the way. I love that shout out.
Yep. Shout out
You
Catholics.
don't think it's even close?
I don't think it's close, no. I think the wrestler, I feel way worse for a failed wrestler.
Yeah.
Well, I figure, like, I mean, a failed wrestler will know when he's actually failed, when he's beat the fuck up and can't wrestle. But the comic keeps going.
I like
He
that.
doesn't even know where he's failed. Like, this might be the one time. This might be
Trust me, I was at an open mic the other night in Philly. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys don't know
they
yet.
failed.
Well,
That's a totally different.
That's
I
an
thought I was having my
example,
turn
like
to talk.
the Philly scene right now.
You said, hey,
no disrespect to the Philly comedy scene, but it's a lot different than
South Philly
when
thing?
me and
Where they
you
just
first
talk
started
It's
coming
very,
around.
there's no intimidation.
And no one.
I'm more LA now, I guess.
Oh.
No. I'm saying we all started around the same time, and what I'm saying is like a lot of times artists they're not honest with themselves.
Yeah.
They don't say like it. This isn't something for me. This isn't something I could get to the top and really break that plateau.
Well, I think Mike brought up a great topic where like me and Brian were just saying, like, physically wrestlers, it's harder. You can't have longevity in it, but it is like, but wrestlers or comics might. Here's the point that he just said. Comics might have it harder because you can be 10 years into wrestling and then fucking break your leg and then be paralyzed and be like, fuck, I failed at 10 years. Or you could be a comic doing 25 years and you're like, I'm fucking crushing it, baby. And then you're like, no, this is an open mic.
Dude,
you know what
over,
I mean?
yeah.
Where it's like, that
And I
might be
think-
mentally...
Yeah, and I think that's what happens a lot now in comedy. Like when you go to some of these like open mics and they're like, and they go up and do their thing, and then they come down like, yeah, I crushed it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah,
didn't happen.
They need
A lot of
old
them
school.
aren't paying attention to even what they're doing, to even know if they're good or not. People just every come, hey, you killed it, hey, you killed it, hey, you killed it.
That's one of the
There
most
was no
disrespectful
killing.
things.
There was no
I
killing
don't
that
see
guy
why
done
open
there.
micers don't get that. If my friend said that to me, like while I was coming up, like McCusker or Gillis or Mission or any of those dudes, if I got off stage after I bombed, they said that, I'd punch them in their fucking head.
Thank you.
It's like, dude, don't ever. And we never
you
did.
don't want someone to say you bombed?
No, I want. That's
Tell me.
saying, yo, good set. It's like, what are you out of your fucking mind?
No,
it was
that's-
horrible, but it's also an open mic, so who gives a shit? You
But
walk
still,
away.
don't tell me. You know, some people
Yeah.
believe you. Like,
Dude,
oh yeah.
let me say something to you. Here's the difference between Philly comedy now to when we were coming around. It's a perfect example. When the Raven Lounge was the Raven and Foley and Kevin and Cotton and all them were running it was more important to get on that first half at one time than it was to get past here. I remember the first time Missiano got on the first half at Raven, I wanted to fight him in front of the Raven. I wanted to kill him because it was a huge deal. And I also remember, here's the thing. This is the best example when I tell people. One time I went up, it was like 2:15 in the morning, of course. No one's there. I think Foley's underneath the stage looking for a Percocet. Fucking Tommy's banging one of the Trink girls. And I'm up there like, hey, what's up with wieners? You know, fucking no one's paying
Fucking
attention.
crushing it.
I get off stage, and Alex Grubard, of all people, who I love to death, Grubard walks up to me and he goes, hey, dude, My name's Alex. I hope you don't mind. I actually wrote down some notes during your set. I saw you here last week, too. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. And he gave me a business card. When I flipped it over, it just said quit. him and Brian Fennell printed out like 200 of those, and they were handing them out at Mike's for like a whole summer.
No one ever did that to me. I would have got violent.
No, but
dude,
that's,
I remember driving home like, quit. I'll quit you, motherfucker. I didn't even know.
Like,
I had 90 fake flights.
But you know
if
what,
you
though?
can't take it, you shouldn't be here.
Nope.
This is the shit talking game.
Well, not
You have
anymore.
to
That's
take
what I was.
it.
That was my
That-
point.
but
Where
that's
it's like
what
it's
it
not
should be.
exactly.
But you
And
know,
then that's when you go home, you cry and shit. Like,
But you know what you
go
just
back-
said
get
at the
your
top
shit
of that,
together.
though? You know what you just said at the top of that? You're like, Alex Grubart, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah,
See?
You love him now because that guy was honest with you.
exactly.
I'd rather have someone say, hey, man, you should just fucking quit, and then fucking joke about it. It makes me better than someone being like, man, I loved your joke about wieners.
Yeah.
You know?
It was pretty good.
You should
I
do
think
a
it should
hard
be
and
the
soft
90s
joke.
crowd. They should fucking boo you.
Yeah.
If you suck, they paid to see you. This is the
Yeah.
entertainment. Comedy is hard. It's not
And also,
supposed to be
though,
easy.
it can't be like that
Really.
anymore. You can't have like an old
I know,
Raven or
but
an
that-
old Philly scene because now you get canceled. It's like you sucked. It's like I'm offended. It's like we should be. You fucking stink. you wasted 5 minutes of mine. We're all dumber for listening to you.
Yeah.
You stink.
That's what it
I
should
think
be.
that's-
Nothing personal.
And that's why getting to New York and LA now more than ever is important because you're going to follow strong quality acts
And that's how
you're
you
going
get
to
better.
and you're going to see beasts.
Beast, yeah.
You're going to see beasts.
Yeah.
You're going to,
Yeah, and it's either you step up or you fucking stand down, and that's it's the old beanie thing, dude.
It's all, it's all showcasing. Yeah.
Get down, lay down, dude. Fucking, I had to follow fucking Sean Patton in Saint Germain the other night at the Cellar, and I was like, I look at Jay, Big Jay, who put the lineup together. I was like, what do I owe you money or something? He was like, what? I was like, the fuck am I following Patton in Saint Germain for?
Yeah.
And Saint Germain is one of my favorite comedians of all time, and he hasn't been doing it for a while, but he's starting back up again. And obviously, he doesn't take long to get really good again. So I'm watching, and Patton murders, and then Saint Germain goes up, and luckily he tried new stuff, which did fine, but like nothing like crazy. But it, of course, ends massive. And then I go up there and I tried to insult some guy's shirt that I thought everyone was making fun of at the top of the show. I got the wrong guy, and I was like, "It is the worst fucking shirt ever." No one says anything, and I hear a woman in the distance just go, "Jesus Christ!" And that mosaic glass is just staring at me like, "You will fail." And then I'm like, "Just you guys know about wieners?" I'm like, God damn it. Luckily, I pulled back up, but like to hear silence at the Cellar in front of a sold out room is terrifying.
It's
At
terrifying.
Raven,
But
but
that's
it's
why
that
it's
same
hard.
feeling of Raven when you're first starting out, or Helium. Like
Yeah.
my first when I got past there as a host, I remember when I was at my first week was with Kevin Brennan. What a prick! And fucking,
he's a ball.
Shout out.
I mean, he was fine, but he was just in a bad mood as usual, and crazy. He didn't sell as many tickets as his brother when he came through. It's like, yeah, well, your brother created a multi-million-dollar show with
I
Dave
didn't realize
Chappelle.
they were related.
They're from Philly. There's like 12 of them. Fucking Brennan's everywhere. They're like the fucking Wahlbergs of Philly. But I remember my opening set on their Thursday night, and in my head I said, let's take it easy, blah, blah, and I fucking ate shit. But in my head I was like, it's Thursday crowd. Friday, Saturday, both. I did fine, but I remember cursing so much, and I thought in my head, like, why am I, when I rewatched the tapes, I was like, why the fuck am I cursing so much? And that was like, put it like this. You can either
Why the
fucking
fuck
swim or
was I
sink when
cursing?
it comes to stand-up. And especially if you watch stuff like that, it's like if you don't figure out what you're doing wrong 2 seconds into rewatching or re-listening to one of your sets, you're going to be one of these 80-year-olds doing a VFW down North Wildwood.
You gotta watch this.
Who books that VFW, though?
You're gonna be-
His
You're gonna
name's
be the-
Carl. He's blind. He's a piece of shit. But good pay, though. Free roast beef, too.
Hey, love it.
All right, guess what, Mike? These episodes are still being sponsored by FlickingCandles.com. I can't believe, look at these gifts they sent us. Look at
They're
this.
great. I got
What do you got?
I got freshly signed divorce papers.
That's your favorite one. Mine says, nobody cares about your new home. I am house. I hope no one sends this to me. The Flicking Candles Company, FlickingCandles.com,
Yeah.
still sponsoring us. And if you use promo code BALL,
Just
you'll get
ball.
10% off.
My ex actually, my ex actually got one. I have the divorce papers. She has freshly signed child support papers. So the ball coupon really does work.
I thought you liked this one.
What's that? Oh, broken home. Yeah, that happened to me twice when I got kicked out.
Yeah, this is the story
Before
of my
the divorce
life.
papers.
This is the story of my life.
Cancel vacations.
Yeah.
Cancel
What are you gonna
vacations. At least you can get vacations. I got too many kids.
Did you get that, Neil? The Flicking Candles Company, Candle Company, flickingcandles.com. Thank you for continuing to support us. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast. The Flicking Candle Company, flickingcandles.com, promo code BALL. You get 10% off.
Definitely check them out. They definitely have what everyone needs. Flicking Candle Company. I'm going to say the Flicking Candle Company all in one word. I know Steve has reading problems. He had to break it down.
Okay.
But definitely check them out.
Where'd you
Philly
go?
area. I'm not saying where, but everybody's bawling laughing, and he keeps it real. That's why, like, we've stayed in touch over the years. He's very honest, and he's like, yo, nobody's doing well, but everybody's clapping.
I'm like, what is going on in here?
Yeah, do you imagine that,
And
having
he's
friends
like-
that
he's like-
support your
he's
comedy?
Like, how
God.
are these guys helping each other? That's where he got me.
And that's
like,
why he's like, you got to come out to these. I'm not doing it, dude. It's sad. It's depressing.
Well, a lot
Nothing
of
good is happening.
a lot of
There's no
LA
punchline.
mics. I don't know if you guys do it in Philly now, but LA has become kind of the pay to play mics,
Yeah.
which is there's positives and negatives to it. The positive of it is like I'm guaranteed to get a spot. Then kind of like back in the day, Ravens Lounge, where you sign up at 8 and you're like, cool, the 12:30 spot. Cool, I've been here 5 hours, and maybe
a hot one.
Brian will see me. Brian, can you come see my set?
Yeah.
this
Fucked
dude
up.
used to
But-
lean against the bar in the second half.
Yeah.
When there was no audience, listen to your jokes.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He would listen. I don't know if you remember this. He would listen to your jokes, and he would be like, "Good one," and then he would go, "That one was terrible."
I remember a dude got mad at me because I audibly said I didn't think I said it that loud, but I turned to McCusker at one point and I was like, "This kid fucking stinks."
That was me, and I'm back, baby. Hometown show.
Yeah.
But I think we should go. You should be willing. I only hang with comics that will tell me the truth.
You always
Only
honest
tell me
with
the truth.
people.
Let me know.
Yo,
You know
it
what
was
I
when
did.
we got the Raven. It was a very easy thing transition. When Cotton and Foley and Kevin and all them gave us handed down the Raven to me and Del Carlo and McCusker, it was like we knew from the jump we weren't changing anything. This is how it's going to go. You know how many people came up to me and was like, "Oh, sick! I'm going to be on the first half now at 6 or McCusker or the Nope, you weren't all in there. Why the fuck are we putting you on? So. We always, Foley told me like the 2 cardinal rules of that place. It was like, dude, the first half has to be sacred. If no one's there when you start that show, and the second rule was always start the show at 9 p.m. If nobody's there, that's usually on the first half, you keep going. I've watched Foley do like fucking 45 minutes. Cotton used to do that when there was people there. You know, he just wanted to do time. But that's also another thing. I went to Raven, and if I had to look at that fucking racist painting that they have up there of that fucking Jim Crow, whatever the fuck that is.
Where?
Have you not seen the painting of Cotton at the Raven?
Oh
Lounge?
yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's terrifying. He's crying. It looks like a fucking slave. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Now, Cotton wasn't
Might
the
have to
best
edit
of looking
that part.
guys.
I don't know.
First off,
We'll keep
First
it.
black guy
when
here
have
is
you
cool.
ever
I made
seen
it
Cotton not
Anyway,
cheesing like an
flicking
asshole?
candles.
This one, he's like crying, looking up, and he's handcuffed. I was like, what's happening? Who painted that? Who's the guy who missed out on this job?
I think it was a nice gesture.
I think it's a dog shit gesture, and I said it when I was up there, and I didn't know John, the owner, was in the crowd. I was like, you guys do comedy in front of this fucking thing? Jesus Christ.
The owner's like, my daughter actually painted that. And it was for Chris Cotton.
Yeah. He also sells shirts that say 100% cotton.
That's
I was like, that's fucked
awesome.
up.
That's hilarious.
Well, and also it's like, well, how much
That's
money is
amazing
fucking
merch,
his
yeah.
wife and kids saying?
Yeah.
Also, who's buying merch at Raven? Remember the hockey jersey?
Hockey. No,
There's a
I don't-
Raven
He
Lounge
said
hockey jersey.
There was a Raven Lounge hockey jersey. It was right around one of my last nights. This is you're going back a lot. Like this has got to be 5-6 years ago. One of my last nights there hosting. It was probably me and Rinaldi's favorite night ever. It wasn't the same night we went to the club, was it? That was 2 separate nights.
Oh, the night.
That and John.
No, I
The one time I wasn't on.
Tell the
'cause we-
truth. Tell the whole
So
story.
what?
No,
He's
one-
gonna-
there's
one
2
night
stories.
instead of-
He's telling. He's telling.
The two there's 2 times. The one
Yeah.
time I was 4th man out, which meant I didn't have to do shit. There was always a 4th man out every week, which you basically could come and hang, do a spot, and then leave. Everybody else did music, hosting.
4 people ran the show.
Yeah, 4 people ran the night.
You were in over
So I was
there,
4th
right?
man out,
Yeah.
and I was standing out front by myself, and the room was packed upstairs. It was like the beginning of the second, and then here comes this one walking down Sam's. He's like, 6, what are you doing? I was like, I'm at Raven, dude. What do you think I'm doing? Fuck that. Let's go to the bar. I was like, okay. So we walk up to the club up the street. You walk right past the door, guy. I was like, all right, here we go.
It's a nightclub.
And then, dude, we go into this shithole room. No one's doing anything. He's like, let's get whiskeys. You get fucking just soup cups of whiskey. And within maybe, no joke, 19 seconds, there was a circle of females around this one. And I'm just standing there like, yo, you guys know about wieners? You know, fucking. But that was just a funny night. The best night ever was.
Just doing your Raven set.
You know what's
there,
weird
like,
about that, too, is this kind of pertains to that, is no one goes to Weed Alley anymore. That's the alley behind Raven, which was it's been named Weed Alley since I started comedy. It's where everyone went between the first and second, smoke weed, and you know, if you were Foley, did blow. I don't know why he did it outside, but whatever. But
I never did drugs. I
Yeah.
just got hammered.
oh, dude, that shit used to hit different, getting drunk up there. But I remember the one night we were all hammered up. We came out in the parking garage right next door. This group of people came out of Raven or somewhere around it. And it was like 3 girls and this kid and this overprivileged little shithead. He's like, fuck you, what the fuck are you guys looking at? Yelling at us. And we weren't even paying attention. And finally, we're like, shut up, John.
Yeah, we named
Because they were like, come on,
named
John,
him.
get in the car. It wasn't they, though. He's like, get in the car, John. We're like, yeah, John, get in the fucking car. Listen to your sister.
And like everybody up the street was going, John.
Remember he tried to get out? They got him in the car and he tried to get out. We're like, shut up, John. Get in the fucking car. He's like, I'll fucking kill you.
Oh, man.
I miss that. Those nights at Raven used to be
You know, he's
a
telling the
blast.
same exact story right now, and he's like, and these guys started yelling at me, and they were
Nah.
like, John.
Nah. He
And
shot
I fucking
himself
told
on the
them,
way
I
home.
said, go fuck you guys. And
Is
then-
L.A. like that at all? Chaotic?
yeah,
Or
there's,
is the scene like...
there's some chaotic stuff.
Dude,
I guess.
I've done comedy a bunch of times in LA, and I used to feel very aggressive by just being normal, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then going out there and like, I remember like Josh Adam Myers was telling me, he's
he's
like,
the
dude,
man,
you
yeah.
gotta pump the brake. I go, dude, I didn't even curse in this. He's like, you just, you know,
Yeah.
you're aggressive. I was like, I didn't even do anything. He's like, you got your hat on. I go, because I wore a hat.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't ease up anymore, dude. I didn't say anything.
You gotta lift it up a bit, you know?
Yeah.
You could. It's
Do they
aggressive.
think you're aggressive?
Yeah, which is fucking awesome, because I'm not.
Great.
That's my opening bit tonight if you're going to come to the show. Yeah. Because I'm so like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? You fucking all right?
Out
I'm like a
there?
tough guy in L.A.
That's
And
great.
here I'm like, hi, Steve. Hey, Mr. Six, it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
Been
yeah.
a couple years. And then
Yeah.
Mike, high five. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, it's very like, you do have to like,
Yeah, switch it up.
I see a lot of East Coast guys come out from like New York or even around here and stuff, and they come out and they're like, my buddy Gary Lelly, he's got like that Don Rickles style where he just like fucks the audience the entire time.
I
And
see a
just,
lot of...
but he's hysterical, but like people are just like, what are you talking about? You know, it's just so emotional.
L.A. more than any scene, there's always an Instagram model comedian on every
Well, they just want to put it on their
Oh,
resume
yeah.
that they're a comic.
Oh,
They
for
did
sure.
one open mic.
Yeah, that's how it
that way they
was.
can tell casting agents. So like, oh, I am a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the story behind that?
There's a
They-
lot of the
they do
reasons
that,
why.
yeah.
I know actors that did.
You
that
see
shit.
a lot of when I ran the Flappers open mic for fucking 2 years,
Flappies.
which is like 2 years too long. But like, because it was
You
like
didn't see some stars
I was
coming
like,
through there?
I
Like,
did, there
this
was-
guy's got it.
Yeah, when he got knocked
There
out by the
was-
bum out
Yeah.
front.
there was this. There was let me tell you the Shitzarella story, because she was an actress. So there was a chick called, she put her name in the bucket, and she was called Shitzarella, is what she put on the thing. She was just like Paris Hilton chick, had like a fucking pink dress on, all this shit and blah, blah. So they were being loud, her whole group, it was like her and like 4 dudes. And they were being so fucking loud, even like when I was up on stage at the beginning and like the first comic too. So I went over to them and told them to calm down, like, you know, stop talking, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of died down a little bit. Then, like, you know, 45 minutes go by and I pull out her name and it's Shitzarella. And then they're all like, fucking going crazy.
That rules.
So she goes Shitzarella. So she goes up there and she just fucking bombs, and she just like yelling at the comics. She's like, "You're my fucking Uber driver. Fuck you. I was at a cocaine party with Paris Hilton. We were doing this," and just like fucking just bombing, like silence, and just being like, "Fuck you. You don't have nothing on me. I was in this or whatever." Ugh. She gets off stage, and the next comic goes up and just fucking roasts her, which was good for like the first 30 seconds. And he's like, "Fuck you," you know, all this stuff. But then he started getting like really heavy
Fuck
into
you.
it, and was like,
That's how you open.
your parents, you should have been a fucking blowjob. You should just fucking die." And then I was sitting there, I was like, "All right, we need to."
You hit the light?
Can we
Yeah.
can we just calm down? So she starts fucking crying, and then like she runs out. And then
God.
the guy like is about to fight the other comic, and I'm like, all right, guys, calm down, blah blah blah. So all the comics were like, yeah, fuck her. You know what I mean? Like they were like revolting, and I was just like, you should try the flappy tots. You know, like please.
Nothing is better than a comedy venue fist fight.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that?
Right.
So
Yeah,
then,
Because it's like
so then
any venue.
So that comic gets off stage and it dies down a bit, and the guy I make them leave and all that stuff, blah blah. Then the guy peeks his head back in, and the other comics on stage is like, he's back. It fucking happened again. But this is what's so fucked up about LA and comics in LA, because everyone was like, fuck you. But then this girl was doing like a peep show on the patio.
Hell yeah.
And all the comics, going back to this, of being like, they were all like, hey, you were really great up there. Really good.
It's D'Elia. He's like, you are great.
Yeah, D'Elia's like, how old are you?
Yeah. 18? Ew.
But you get a lot of actresses that like, yeah, they just try stand up, and then they're so into it for about a month, and then then they're done, because you could tell they're even like reciting a monologue. They don't have like beats. They don't have fucking. They just go up there and they're like, the deal about wieners is
Yeah. Yeah, they read
wieners.
they read
like,
tweets.
whatever. Yeah, they're retweets. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So.
feel like LA's that, and
Yeah.
then I spent some time in Chicago. It's a writer's scene. They're all writers.
Yeah.
Great comics, but they're all writers. And then you get like this Northeast, like Philly, New Yorkers, where we just like very physical,
Yeah.
smacking you with all the beats. It's like a different style that you get over here in Philly. And I
Yeah.
feel like the Philly comics, they get good.
Yeah, dude, a good way to describe Philly comedy, I heard this recently, that's why I bring it up, is I don't know if you guys remember when Doogie Horner was on America's Got Talent. You guys remember that?
I
You
do
don't
remember
remember
that,
okay.
but I don't remember his.
So
his-
what happened was, at the time, America's Got Talent, it wasn't big for any
new.
comics.
It's new.
And it was very new. There was no comics on it. Like now, I'm pretty sure there's a comic every episode, whatever. Doogie was one of the first to actually go up there and just be a stand-up comic. He wasn't twirling dishes. He wasn't doing magic, any of that shit. So me
I
and
can
Shaner
twirl
had him
dishes
on
tonight, right? Can I twirl dishes tonight?
that's my closer.
I brought
so.
some dishes, so
I'm bringing the doll you bought
if
for
you
my
can,
baby.
can you get Brian to bring me up so we'll just pass the dish?
Yeah. So Doogie's out there, and me and Shaner had him on the podcast recently, and I didn't want to bring it up because I know he's talked about it over the years forever. This is what, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when he was on, and he goes, I go up there, and it was at this big venue in was it Vegas, I believe? I forget. But he goes, the theater was massive. He goes, but I didn't realize how loud the buzzing was when they didn't like you. Like on America's Got Talent, they hit buzz. Yeah. He goes, it was like a fucking fire horn in my ear. So he goes, when you watch it back, you hear me go, shit. But he goes, so he's bombing. This is I wouldn't compare it to it, but it's definitely in the league of like when Burr turned the crowd for the Opie and Anthony thing, which is by far the best thing I've ever seen in my life. When he went at Philly at the East, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kept yelling. He's like, 2 minutes.
And I'm
He's
gonna
like, you
show
fucking
my
idiots
minutes.
think a fictional boxer's the best fucking athlete, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And dude, it was one of the best
Give me the
turnaround
fucking
sets.
buzzer.
It's that's the standard for a turnaround set. Doogie's up there, he's getting yelled at almost like, shut up. But what he said was, he goes, if it wasn't for Philly comedy, I wouldn't have been like, fuck it. What do I care? Because I'm not going to win this thing. If anything, I'm going to get made fun of, even if I won, by comics. Because like I said, it wasn't a thing. So he said, fuck, I just went at him. And I just started talking about having sex with eagles. And if you watch the tape, which is it's on YouTube,
I gotta look
they
it up.
turn it around, and and dude, by the end, he's got everyone, and fucking, it's one of the best things because he said if it wasn't, he said it on our podcast. He goes, if it wasn't for Philly comedy, I would have just taken my licks and walked the fuck off stage, and that would have been it. But
Yeah.
it's like, fuck it, I'm already up here. You know what I mean? Fuck them, and that's what Philly comedy coming up in those days taught you. It's like, dude, you're gonna walk away with your tail between your legs. Good luck in the fucking future. This is G-rated compared to the shit you're going to walk into.
Yeah.
This is preparing
But
you a
that's-
little early to
That's the
prepare
thing
you
about
for it.
Philly
But
anyway, in any entertainment,
That's
Philly
what I'm
takes
saying.
no
Every
shit.
scene should
No
be like
shit.
that.
And Philly is. I've seen they boot Beyonce one time.
Fucking right.
It's like, Philly don't give a fuck. You come with
No.
the heat or take your ass home.
yeah, it's another
Fuck you,
personal.
Beyonce. Who run the world? We don't give a fuck. You know?
It's funny too because you guys were talking about, you guys were at a mic or a showcase or something, and everybody was supporting them and laughing, and it's like saying the
birthday.
dumbest shit. Ryan Shaner, he's been sober over a year now, Shaner. But what he drank, you guys know. Shaner drank all of Raven. But Shaner also said very loud and clearly the N-word twice or maybe 3 times on the Raven line and got a standing ovation on the one.
It was how he said it.
Yeah.
it's how he said it.
Yeah, he hit the G, not the R.
That's how you say it.
But it was also like no one cared. Fucking Christ. Joe Mayo was throwing fucking pints out of the window because he goes, I'm bombing because these people won't shut the fuck up. I go, Mayo, there's nobody even out there. He's just chucking glasses.
90s comedy is the reason I wanted to do stand-up because it was hard. It was raw. Anything went. Like, I mean, what
It's
like
weird
Robin
to watch
Harris
it,
used to walk in the crowd and hit everyone individually. You all will get this work.
It still exists. Still
It's
exists.
out there.
It still
It's
exists.
out
It
there.
ain't
I mean,
a
dude, how do you
dying-
think Digital Graffiti started? Digital Graffiti was started because we were in a group chat. We all lived together. It was me, McCusker, Gillis, and Wood. Every open mic we went to, we went in. It was like we didn't do anything, but everyone's like, these guys are the bullies. It's like, wow, fuck it. We're just going to accept. You keep saying it. We're going to. So we had a group chat on every open mic. Just being like, this dude fucking sucks, dude. And like from across the way, you'd hear McCusker laughing or like Shane or me laughing. So Digital Graffiti, I don't know if you're familiar with it, which is when a comic goes on this stage and then the movie screens drop down and there's a group chat going on while they're on stage. They don't see it and we're just trashing them. And dude, I'll put it like this. I'll give credit when credit's due. Brandon Gorin, who runs, I think he still runs Raven. You know Brandon, Neil. Brandon used to fuck us up on Digital Graffiti because he'd come out, he didn't give a fuck. I remember Peggy was living in New York. She came down to do it. And she's sitting there and he looks over. He's like, you think I give a fuck what they're saying? Look at this fucking nobody. Who the fuck are you? And she was just like, I was like, dude, that's how Goran loved it. He goes, fuck you. Good luck. Because
Would
dude,
that
there'd
show
be
work
times.
in L.A.?
So what you put up the
So
text
there's-
message?
They're
On
like
the-
heckling.
Yeah,
and it's
the
behind
crowd's
the
reading
guy
the
who's just
text
doing his
messages.
act.
That's awesome.
And it started
It
because
was a great show here.
Yeah.
You guys got to
Yeah.
bring
very,
it back.
very
Six.
close to bringing it
You
back.
got to bring
It
it
is.
back. Dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very close to bringing it back. But I mean,
Wow.
that's Matt and Shane's show. Matt and
Oh,
Shane.
okay. I thought it was.
But I mean, we were all involved.
That's pretty
But
cool, yeah.
At the end of it, like we were all involved. But that was Shane's idea for it, and Matt, helping him with it, and then Mekhi was helping us with the setup. But the reason it didn't have the longevity it did back then is because it got that stigmata of like a bullying show. But it was like, dude, I remember sending out the invites for it to these open mics. I explained it to a T. I said, this is a roast show. If you are not comfortable on getting made fun of while you're
Yeah.
trying to do your set, by all means, if we don't care. No disrespect. I won't think
like
you're a
Kill
pussy.
Tony.
I was gonna
Exactly.
say Kill
Exactly.
Tony.
Exactly.
But I kind of like that better because Kill Tony, they give you a minute and then they're just
Yeah.
like, hey, you fucking sucked.
Yeah, then you gotta talk to 'em.
But you guys also
Also,
do.
we all have player 1, player 2.
Yeah, but do you
nobody
also
knows
say
who's saying it.
do you also say positive shit like this guy's
No.
doing? Okay,
No, God, no.
I would love some positivity, Brian.
No, well, you know what? With
I want this guy's got great hair, but his fucking jokes suck.
there was a couple of people that did it. Brandon Gorin will always stick out to me because he came out and he was one that specifically got the crowd to look away from the fucking screen, and that's the ultimate goal, which you can do if
Yeah.
you're not a pussy. It's like,
Now,
dude,
can you also? I would want to read along with it too.
he was false.
no.
They're not allowed
Like
to
he
see
has
it.
a small dick, and his ex-girlfriine was right.
Yeah. Oh, it's way
Anyway,
worse
guys,
than
I
that,
grew up in
dude.
South Jersey.
It's way worse than
You know,
that.
like-
I'm really motivated for this showcase tonight at Helium. I'm like, this is going to be.
We should just do digital graffiti.
Can we do that? Yeah, just text it.
Didn't Barnick just record an album? Put him up there for an hour.
All right, we got a show to do. Let's
great.
wrap it up. Ball breaking with Mike and Steve.
Another
Thank-
great one.
Thank you to
Appreciate
Brian.
Yeah.
Six for coming out.
What happened? One of the
Doing the
Grossmans walk in?
All right, that's it.
Are
Thank
we
you.
done? Can I plug something?
You plugged tonight. You're like, I'll be up in about 25 minutes. Doing 10. Wait, who
These are
just
funny. We done? We're done. We're done.
was a Foley?
This has been a Drop Tent Media Production.